Hello, everyone, and welcome to a great episode of the Gridiron Glory here, where Tad and Will look at all things NFL and specifically all things NFC West here as we have a division rivalry matchup with the Seattle Seahawks walking into San Francisco and leaving with a 20-17 victory. Both teams now 5-5 on the season. This is the third home loss for the San Francisco 49ers. In what's looking to be a very ultra competitive division race, Arizona 6-4 with the other three teams at 5-5. So for Seattle, we had Geno Smith, the veteran quarterback. He was definitely in this matchup the better quarterback on the field. 25 of 32, 221 yards, a beautiful average of 6.9 yards per completion. So that's definitely a stat worthy of noting.
And
One
it's
interception.
that's a big part and due to the fact that he has a terrific and dynamic wide receiver, Jackson Smith the Jigba, 10 catches,
Certainly.
110 yards, 11 targets. Tad, I really wanted to ask you this a couple of weeks ago, but we didn't do episodes that week. And Jackson Smith the Jigba had a big game during that week. So yes, Tad, I'm dying to hear your answer of where you would rank Jackson Smith the Jigba amongst the wide receivers in the NFC.
Yeah, Jackson, the star second year receiver out of the Ohio State University, definitely continuing a very promising young career. You would have to think that he's going to continue to get better. He's definitely improved his game from a season ago, and I think he's going to prove to be a top three receiver in his draft class for sure. I mean, Zay Flowers, he's pretty good. And we've seen what Jordan Addison can do, but I feel like Smith Najigba's right up there with Jordan Addison competing for the wide receiver 2 role in his draft class.
Absolutely. So yeah, he has a breakout game, Jackson Smith the Jigba.
Very impressive.
Did you have any other takes on what Seattle was able to do?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a little bit more on their run game. They had a fairly impressive run game, with a touchdown rush by Geno Smith, a touchdown rush by Kenneth Walker, and this is against a fairly strong front seven in San Francisco. Obviously, Fred Warner, one of the best linebackers in the league, so very impressive there. A huge win for Seattle.
Yeah, a very huge win for Seattle. For San Francisco, just like a tough break because this was a nitty gritty game against their divisional rivals, and I mean even going into the fourth quarter, it was a competitive game of football, 13-10 going into it. And even early on in the game when it was when the 49ers were down 3-0, Brock Purdy swings it around, gets a rushing touchdown to break the pylon and everything. And then, I mean, yeah, that was a moment there where Brock Purdy really took a sense of leadership. And then, I mean, even the touchdown late in the game to Jawan Jennings, where the San Francisco 49ers took a 17-13 lead. So, I mean, as far as, Brock Purdy and everything, this and that, I mean, he did enough to give his team the lead 17-13 with less than a minute left to go in this football game. And then, as you said, just the veteran Geno Smith, with literally 12 seconds left on the clock, he runs the ball in himself to secure the victory almost essentially for the Seahawks. So I wouldn't necessarily put this loss on Brock Purdy, in my opinion, or the 49ers offense. I mean, this was just what it came down to was a 49ers defense that needed to execute in the final minute, and they didn't.
I would say one thing that was crossing my mind as I was watching the San Francisco offense. Well, what an impressive game from Jawan Jennings, who's having a breakout season for the receiver there out of Tennessee, the 2020 draft pick. He's played in 8 games this year, and he already has a career high in yards with 588, one off a career high in touchdowns with 4. And the thought that just kept crossing my mind is what For a receiver, like not a lot of players have raised their stock as much this year as Jawan Jennings, and I'd sincerely want to know your take on that.
Yeah, Jawan Jennings, man, I love watching this guy play football. Fourth year player now out of the University of Tennessee, former volunteer. 42 catches, 588 yards, 4 touchdowns. Can certainly be very sneakily good sometimes, sir. I mean, to me, it's just like, especially in this game, you definitely felt like he was ultimately like the X factor that gave San Francisco that chance to win. And again, this just came down to lack of execution to the San Francisco defense at the end of this game. And on the flip side of that, Geno Smith making a big a career that rushing touchdown for Geno Smith was a career moment for him for sure.
It was a big moment for sure for Geno, for your game for Jackson Smith and the Jigba, as well as you mentioned earlier. And I do want to get your take on the last drive of the game, or the last maybe couple drives of the game for the San Francisco offense. They punted on their last drive after having a chance to get a first down and running the clock out, and this was after they threw a 5 yard completion on 3rd and 11. What was your take on that play call as Brock Purdy was throwing a 5 yard pass on 3rd and 11 with the game on the line?
I mean, you can't necessarily put that completely on him. I mean, you can certainly you could probably. I mean, the offensive coordinator should have drew up a better play in that situation. I mean,
absolutely.
That just kind of comes down to like coordination and coaching, in my opinion.
For sure. I think in that play, you'd have to be a little more aggressive there. I mean, you know what Geno Smith can do on the other end. I mean, you want to trust your defense, but you also want to trust your offense to put yourself in a position to ice the game, I think, and they did not do that.
They did not put themselves in a position to ice the game. It's like you did enough, but you left too much time on the clock for Geno Smith, and it cost you a win doing that, unfortunately, in a tightly contested NFC West. I do like to see Christian McCaffrey, of course, back. 19 carries, 79 yards. So you might have liked to have seen like perhaps a touchdown rush that could have made a difference, but it is what it is there. And yeah, just
I do have one question I'd like to pose, and I'll answer it myself as well. We see the NFC West is very tight. Who do you see coming out on top in the NFC West?
Well, my preseason prediction was the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm still going to stick to that. I still overall believe that the 49ers are the best team in this division. And, it's just like until they prove to me otherwise. I mean, there's still a lot of season left to be played, Tad. Though this game, how that went at the end, it's a head scratcher because it's like you want to believe that they can still win this division, but it's a moment like that, that defense on that kind of a drive where it's like, hey, you need to go out there, you need to contain Geno Smith. You failed to do it. It just makes you wonder. I mean, this NFC West is very tightly contested.
Very tightly contested. I also predicted that San Francisco would win the division in the preseason. I did not see this being all that close of a race, but here we are. Right now, Arizona's a game ahead. It looks like Matthew Stafford for the Rams, they have some great quarterbacking going on there. We saw what Seattle did, obviously. Do I think San Francisco has by far the best roster in the division? Yes, I do. And I think in the end that will carry the day. And I do think San Francisco wins the division, but it will be a lot closer than we both thought preseason.
Absolutely. I mean, and tremendous takes there, sir. So going into next week, the San Francisco 49ers, they will be taking on the Green Bay Packers. And a very dynamic and prolific all-time NFC rivalry there. The Seattle Seahawks, they will they're on a bye. They will be playing
on
the very big NFC West rivalry game against the Cardinals. So huge game for Seattle Seahawks going into next week, as you have a serious chance to go into possibly take first place to the NFC West here, sir.
Yes, a massive challenge there. Division lead on the line. A big game for Geno Smith and company.
So Seahawks win 20-17. Did you have any other final thoughts or takes on this game?
No.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow all season long. Tad and Will covering all things NFL football and all 32 teams as I once again thwart the haterade that came towards Brock Purdy from Tad. Despite this game was not on him. It was on the defense. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow everybody.
Thanks for watching.